Okay, so I've got these basic mass forms, and now I just want to develop those a little bit more by adding some more mass elements and joining them in different ways to this mass that I've already done. So I'll start by selecting what I've made, the mass, and then to edit it, going to edit in place. Takes me back into that massing environment. And it's important that you realise that it's only going to work on this one that I've selected, not the other mass. That's a different element. So now I'll go to the model option, I suppose, and make sure I've got a line tool selected, and then also check that I'm on draw on work plane there, and then where it's got place or placement plane, I'll just choose ground floor, and then do a shape that's going to be a void, so I'm just roughly drawing a sort of rectangular shape that would be in plan. Doesn't matter, I can adjust that. Okay, so I've got my shape, now I'm going to select it, and then on the sub-menu under Create Form, I'm going to choose Void Form this one. Now, if I click to one side, I'm fairly certain that it will subtract automatically. And if you've seen it not do that, if you've seen it stay orange, it's because the void isn't overlapping the other element. So in this case I made it, it does overlap and it's cut away automatically. I'll just go and make another one. So you can see if I make it outside and then do the same thing. So I'll select that shape and then again Create Form, Void Form. You can see it'll stay orange to show you that it's not cutting anything. Now to make it cut that building, I'd need to make it overlap. So I could either move the whole thing, selecting it, just click and drag to move it, or I could stretch it using a face. I can just tab to select that face maybe, and then just bring that into the building a bit more. So now to force it to be cut from that main form, I'm going to use the cut tool. And I can choose the void and then the main form it's going to cut. That one actually looks a bit better than the other one. Okay, so I'm going to fix this one up now. So the original void, I want to adjust that now. So the trick there is to find a surface or an edge that the void creates. So the void's cutting this whole interior area, so I can just go and put my cursor onto any of those edges and then press tab. You might need to press it a few times, so I'm just pressing it again and again until it highlights the void that I want. So I'm going to select that now, and then now I want to adjust the top, so I'm just going to move my cursor onto the edge at the top, and then again press tab, one press at a time, don't try holding it or anything, just press it and have a look at the selection afterwards, and you can see there it's highlighting that top surface now, so I can click to select that. And the gizmo there maybe looks a bit strange, but remember X, Y, Z is red, green, blue, RGB, it's always in that order, and if you orbit, it may look a bit more the way you expect it to. So you can see there blue is definitely Z, but it's pointing downwards in this case. And so I can click and drag on that blue arrow to make this void lower. It's a bit hard to tell the result, but you can see when I'm dragging it does actually show the void there pretty clearly, or what it's creating. And if I click to one side, you'll see the finished result. Okay, so that still maybe needs a bit more work, so I'll go back and again use tab to highlight the void, and then tab again to highlight the edge that I want to move, or the surface that I want to move, and bring this side back, and then maybe we'll get the other side and bring that in a little bit too. So there we are. A bit random, but that'll do for now. And so then going the other way, you can also add elements. So I'll draw yet another basic shape that's going to overlap my main building. Select that shape, and this time I'll make sure it's a solid form. Now, just out of interest, if you ever do that wrong, and you realise afterwards that you've made something that you wanted to be a void, but you've made it as a solid, you can usually change it afterwards. Some cases you can't, but usually you can change it. So all you need to do is select it like I have there. If you missed that, I've just used Tab to highlight the whole element. You see there it says Form Element there and also down here. And then in Properties, usually, not always, but usually you'll get the option there, Solid Void, that you can change to Void, which is really useful. I often find I'll make most things as solids first and then change them to Void, because it's much easier to adjust them while they're a solid. So if you know in advance you're going to be making a lot of changes before you need it to be a void, then make it as a solid first. Much easier. And also if you've got a really complex model with lots of things going on, again, sometimes easier to just make it as a solid and then make it a void and you can choose what it's cutting from. So, okay, so that's a void. I don't want it to be a void. So I'll show you where there are actually some limitations here. If I select that void now, it's going to give me the option to change back to a solid. This is where there can be issues, so you can't always change voids back to solids. So just watch out for that.
You can change void to
Solids to voids, nearly always. Yeah, I haven't seen it not work, but yeah, maybe it might in some cases not work. So I didn't check the work plane very well there. That's okay. Just going to select that whole shape, and you can see there I've got the host still on reference point. That's why it was higher than I expected it to be, but I can go back to ground floor there really easily. And then move it across. Okay, so now to combine these two objects, you need to use join. So fairly easy to remember, cut and join it together. So if I choose join now, and then just choose the two elements, it joins them together. Which is really nice. Cuts out the intersecting volume, which is really the whole point of this. And so again, I want to get that that shape so I can adjust it, and then get that surface there, and maybe bring that back in a bit more. And there we are. And maybe this could come back a bit further. Okay, so the advantage of that, rather than just having the two overlapping forms, is that if I now go to make a wall or something else off that surface, it's going to be cut out accordingly, which is exactly what we want. So here with the wall tool, you can see there when I pick that. Actually, I could use storefront there, but I'll go back to a solid wall. It's telling me that it's not visible in this view, but it has been created. So if I go to another view, there it'll come up. You come around to look at it from the right side, and there it is. So perfectly cut there. A bit more. So, unless you've got any questions about that, I'll maybe give some time to try and make some massing, and then we can go a bit further with maybe the set out for your new building. But yeah, definitely have a go at massing and just try and get familiar with the tools as well.